It has been almost a year since my last Eastside Metro update, so during a quick trip to Birmingham I decided to walk the 1.7km route from Corporation Street to High Street Deritend. It was good to see that the project is progressing well, despite the news that the construction of Curzon Street Station will delay the opening until at least 2027. The Delta Junction located between Corporation Street and Bull Street is now complete. This junction will allow trams from Wolverhampton and Edgbaston to reach Digbeth. Crucially, trams from Edgbaston Village will provide the connectivity between New Street Station, otherwise known as Grand Central, and the new Curzon Street HS2 station. With a 10 trams per hour peak service split between Edgbaston and Wolverhampton, I assume that will mean there will be a tram every 12 minutes during the peak between New Street and Curzon Street. The tram tracks along Bull Street are now in place and the road has been rebuilt, with the addition of public realm enhancements which has improved the look of Bull Street. The old building at the bottom of Bull Street on Dale End that was home to a McDonald's has now been completely demolished, and work now appears to be underway to divert utilities and prepare the ground before track laying can commence. From Dale End, the line will head in a easterly direction along Albert Street towards Moore Street Queensway, with the first of 4 tram stops located at the bottom of Albert Street just before the junction with Queensway. When I visited at the end of February, there wasn't a great deal of activity along Albert Street, but the Midlands Metro Alliance, who are building the extension, have since stated that work between Albert Street and the Clayton Hotel will commence in April. The work in the area will include the remodelling of the junction between Moore Street Queensway and Albert Street, as well as the construction of a new temporary tram stop located adjacent to the hotel. In November last year, the West Midlands Combined Authority agreed to fund an £18 million temporary terminus, which will include the installation of a crossover to allow trams to switch tracks to head back west. The temporary terminus will allow the line to open before 2027, possibly towards the end of 2025 or beginning of 2026. From the hotel, the line takes a sharp 90-degree turn to head towards New Canal Street. I think in previous videos in which I referred to the extension, I stated that the Curzon Street stop will be located on New Canal Street. However, the stop will be situated at an angle to New Canal Street, close to the Woodman pub and existing 1830s Curzon Street building. After the stop, the line will run along New Canal Street, passing underneath the new HS2 station and the West Coast Main Line before heading along Meriden Street. The Curzon Street tram stop will be fully accessible from the HS2 station, with lifts and escalators bringing people from platform level down to an eastern concourse, which will be built at ground level close to the tram stop. Work on the short section of the tram line and stop between the hotel and West Coast Main Line cannot commence until work on the HS2 station is largely complete, which could take until 2026 or 2027. Therefore, trams won't reach Digbeth until 2027 at the earliest. Heading away from Curzon Street, a third tram stop will be situated between the West Coast Main Line and Chiltern Main Line, close to Borsley Street, and as far as I can tell will be located on New Canal Street, next to the new BBC Birmingham headquarters. But according to the Metro Alliance website, the stop will be called Meriden Street. The site for the new headquarters will see the partial demolition of the Thai Food Tea building, which stood empty for years. When I visited this section last year, work to divert utilities was still underway, but now that work appears to have been completed and there's little sign of activity currently. From the Meriden Street stop, the line continues south underneath the Chiltern Main Line before reaching the B4100 in Digbeth, which becomes the B4100 High Street Deritend. This was the first time visiting the High Street since work started, and I was struck by just how complete this section is. The new track and public realm enhancements really are impressive and have transformed the area. Before the tram extension came along, the road really didn't look like a pleasant place to be for pedestrians or cyclists. Now the 4-lane main road has been reduced to 1 lane in each direction for road vehicles, with turnouts for buses. The westbound carriageway is now dedicated to trams and pedestrians, with a high quality paved surface laid between and alongside the tram tracks from Meriden Street to the line's eastern terminus. The final tram stop in Digbeth will be located at the bottom of Milk Street, which is just a short walk away from Birmingham Coach Station. Work was still underway when I visited, but it doesn't look like it'll be long until the stop is complete. Heading east from the stop, a pair of tracks lead to a diamond crossing, which will allow trams to reverse and head back towards Wolverhampton or Edgbaston village. Beyond the crossing, a short section of track leads to a dead end, beyond which there's a short grassed section. But it is hoped that trams will one day run further east to Solihull and perhaps all the way to Birmingham Airport and the new HS2 interchange station, but that is subject to funding, which will likely cost upwards of £1 billion. According to the Alliance website, only around half of the new route will be electrified, and will instead make use of the fact that the Urbo 3 trams are fitted with batteries so can run on sections without wires. The Edgbaston line and new extension to Wolverhampton station also feature sections which are catenary free. I'm not sure exactly which sections will be wired, or if the Digbeth stop may perhaps have a short section to charge the batteries, but the section underneath the new HS2 station will definitely not have wires. It's frustrating that the line to Digbeth has been delayed until at least 2027, but the temporary stop will at least provide connectivity with Moor Street Station, Birmingham University and the many bus routes which converge on Moor Street Queensway. And the tram line itself already appears to have had a positive impact on the High Street, which has been transformed and looks more pleasant. I'll be visiting Birmingham again soon in future, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And just before I sign off, I'd like to thank my Patreon and YouTube members who helped make videos like this possible. If you'd like to consider supporting the channel, there are links in the description below.